Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. You literally just said what I was kind of leading on to.
Okay.
You know, there's an emphasis on men having, being, select so they can attract the highest quality female, but women are going to be bringing something to the table as well.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, a lot of these modern men aren't.
They ain't got
They
anything
feel
much.
entitled. Yeah, they're narcissistic. They feel
Yep.
entitled to this top tier guy. But what are they bringing to the table apart from, you know, in some cases, I was going to say a pretty face, but some cases not even a pretty face. What are they
Sometimes,
actually bringing to the table?
yep. Sometimes not even a pretty face. You know, I done been with
Exactly.
some in
They're literally bringing nothing to the table.
a.
So I think my number one thing is this: every man should try and be the best version of you, not to impress women or get women. Just try and be the best version of you, because that's the best thing to do for yourself, right? And then when you do that, you'll become part of the 10. We talk about the 90-10 rule, right? So we've got 90% of women going after 10% of the guys. If you just do the self-improvement, right, improve all areas of your life and do the self-improvement, right, you don't have to worry about trying to impress no women, because women will be able to see that anyway, and you will become select. You become part of the 10% where 90% of the women are chasing. But leaning on to something else you said as well, it's funny because when I used to hang out with my homeboys back in the day, like the same thing kind of used to happen as well. So like you be chilling with your boys, they'd be acting a certain way,
Yeah.
and then suddenly a broad would come on the scene, and what these guys used to do was they try and clown you or
Yep.
try and clown one of the other guys to impress her.
Yep.
And I think it's making yourself look stupid, right? Because from her point of view, it's like if you're hanging out with them guys, right, and now you're trying to clown him and say, oh, he's not all that. He what does that say about you?
Yep.
You're saying, oh, he's not all that, and trying to put him down to impress her. But if he's not all that, why are you hanging out with him? So you're actually making yourself look bad, because you are who you hang around with. So if you're hanging out with people who aren't all that, then you're kind of saying you're not all that yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
So that's the
I hear where you're going with it.
Yeah, so that's the same thing that used to happen to me. There's some memories from back when I was at uni and all that kind of stuff. It used to happen a lot. Guys try and clown each other. Guys can be acting all masculine alpha, and then as soon as the female comes on
They
scene,
change
that
up.
alpha behavior just goes out the window, and then suddenly it's like a
Yep.
Jekyll and Hyde character. It's like you weren't acting like this 5 minutes ago. What's happened to you? Do you know what I mean? But that's just the way a lot of guys are. A lot of guys are simps nowadays, and they just literally put women on a pedestal, and that's why some of these women feel so entitled, because men put them on a pedestal. You got women who are 5s out of 10 who think they're 10 out of 10. And the
Yep.
reason why is because guys gassing them up all the time, inboxing them, giving them compliments, buying them things, taking them to expensive restaurants. It's got to stop. We've got
Of
to stop
course.
these
I
simps,
mean,
because it's ruining the dating game.
especially nowadays. I mean, it's definitely ruined the game because we look at a few things, and one of the points I wanted to touch on, which was brought to our attention in the chat, and it was something that I've looked into and explored myself somewhat, based off past situations and experiences. And when we take the psychology with things nowadays, especially with the internet and stuff like we're speaking of, and people being able to sort of self-validate or find instant validation, or even just different sort of conversations and stuff like that, um we see a huge portion of people showing signs of narcissistic personality disorder, also histrionic personality disorder. But to touch on narcissistic personality disorder, I'm gonna read through some of these just a minute so you can sort of get a scope of what I'm gonna do. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can share my screen.
I
Maybe
think I know where you're going with this. Some of the dating requirements on these.
no, well, no, not as such. These are some of the traits of somebody with a narcissistic personality disorder. So I think there's a high proportion of females nowadays that fit into this category, and a lot of guys too as well, just from their character. A grandiose sense of self-importance.
Yep.
Grandiosity is the defining characteristic of narcissism. So it's more than just arrogance or vanity. It's an unrealistic sense of superiority. Another one lives in a fantasy world that supports their delusions of grandeur. Since reality doesn't support their grandiose view of themselves, narcissists live in a fantasy world propped up by distortion, self-deception, and magical thinking. Need of constant praise and admiration. I'm not going to go into some of the subheadings on all of them because it will be a bit long. Sense of entitlement, exploits others without guilt or shame, frequently demeans, intimidates, bullies, and
Exactly.
belittles others. So, these sorts of
That
personality
sums
disorders
up a lot of modern females, to be honest with
are
you.
very serious, but I feel as though some of this is exasperated by the use of the internet and just
Mhm.
being able to create a new persona or character or characteristic that you want to live through vicariously and stuff. And I mean, have you ever come across anybody with these kind of traits and stuff, or do you think this is something that's prevalent in the modern women, where some say, you know, there's a lot of narcissism? I will go into histrionic personality disorder maybe later, but what do you think about the narcissistic personalities out there?
Yeah, I mean, some, you know, you just read some definitions of, you know, the behavior characteristics of narcissism, and that definitely matches up with a lot of the modern females, and it's getting worse as well. You know, a lot of them do have this kind of self-importance about themselves, and you think to yourself, what have you done? What have you achieved to actually have this kind of self-importance about yourself? Just because you have a pretty face that you were born with, you know what I mean? Like a man has
And
to be
sometimes
high
it's not
value.
even the face. Sorry to cut you. Sometimes it ain't even the face. It's just the body parts that they're
Yeah, exactly. And you know, a man has to work to be high value. A man has to work hard, right, to get high value in society.
You've got
But
to
the
earn it.
female,
You gotta make your bones, man. You gotta earn it, man. You
exactly,
know,
the
you
man
got.
has to earn it. The woman is literally just born with it. Like
Yeah.
she's just born with that face or body. She
I'm,
hasn't actually earned it. So it's ridiculous that she can have this kind of self entitlement and self importance, when she hasn't actually done anything to earn it. You know, these OnlyFans. I mean, you know, I'm sure you heard this woman in America. She bought a house with only 3 months earnings from OnlyFans. She bought a £200,000 house in
I
three
mean,
months.
we got
And that's the level of gone.
we got our OnlyFans up for about that experience, and that's for, you know, the behind the scenes stuff and the cool stuff that we do in the videos and stuff sometimes. But I guarantee we ain't gonna get that much money or hardly anything near that.
Exactly, and that's why these women feel so self-entitled, because
The
guys are
deck,
just
the
throwing
deck,
money at them, and they've never met her. They've never
and
met her. They're never going to meet her,
the
and
deck
yet they're
is
having to throw
stacked.
money at her.
The deck is
Yeah.
stacked in their favor, definitely in that sense. They've got the deck stacked in their
But I
favor.
do believe, though, for the modern female, the tables turn. So what generally happens is once women get to their 30s, right, their looks start to decline, right? They hit what we call the wall. I'm sure you've heard that term before,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So when women hit to the 30s, I've seen it with women, because I'm in my early 30s now, so I've seen it. Their looks start to decline. So the one thing that was bringing them attention or money before, they start to lose that now. And then men who've worked on themselves, their value goes up, because women's sexual market value in the modern dating world is determined primarily by her looks and her fertility, right? That's it. Whereas a man's sexual market value in the modern dating world, is determined by, yes, his looks as well, but it's determined by what he's achieved, how much money he's got, how well he's doing his career, what resources he has, house, car, how much power he has. So what's going to happen is the tables turn. So that female from the age of 18 to 28, she's at the top of her game. She can attract any high value man she wants. She's getting all these guys trying to get at her. But then when she gets into her 30s, her looks start to decline. The amount of attention she gets from men declines. The quality and quantity of men she can attract declines. Whereas for a man, when he gets into his 30s, it's all good.
Different
If he's worked on himself, and that's a
yeah.
good thing, his
Oh
value
yeah.
starts to increase. And one thing these women have to realize as well, and this is a warning for them, once they start to decline in their 30s, they will continue to decline for the rest of their lives. It never goes back the other way. Their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, they will continue to decline. Their sexual market value will continue to decline. So yeah, they have the laugh over us in their 20s, but when we get into our 30s and 40s, we have the last laugh.
Yeah,
So
I mean, and a wise man, Michael Kyle, who was stressed out on my wife and kids, used to always say, "He who laughs last, laughs last, last, last."
well, exactly. My parents used to say it to me as well. They used to say it to me when I was a kid, me and my brother when we were kids. You know, he who laughs last, laughs longest.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? People have to be, you know. But
yeah.
that's my